You've had great success with the web series for Mary Olson. You even have a Twitter page for Mary who tweets, it looks like, on dating and single life and that kind of stuff. And then Ain't It Cool News, I believe, says about your film that looking for a good place to laugh till you drop, the selling is the right place for you. So nice. We'd love to hear about your comedy. How do you make a scene funny?
Thoughts?
No pressure.
We actually, an example from the movie, there was the opening, one of the opening scenes of the film, just, I couldn't crack it.
The one with Simon and Elena?
Yeah, and I just kept rewriting it and rewriting it and rewriting it. And at this point, I had been working on the script by myself, and like the night before we shot it, we sat down together, and she said, flip it this way and do this, and then she figured out sort of just the way of doing it. So you tell me how
I don't know.
Being funny, you can't really teach it. It's just sort of, it's an instinct. And
if you're a girl that helps
honed.
to make dick jokes, that helps.
Yes, yes.
In what sense?
Am I turning red?
Is there?
Are you embarrassed?
I'm embarrassed.
Are you embarrassed because I said dick
salty
jokes?
Language. Yeah. You want to talk about being a female comedian?
Yeah, that's weird. We'll go to comedy shows and I'll be the only girl backstage a lot of times. I mean, it's gotten better in the last 5 years or so, but people will get up and people will, oh, there's two of them, oh, there's a girl. And I think in our culture, it's not that women aren't funny, it's that people aren't used to laughing at women. And I was, he was at the comic book store and I was bored, so I was reading magazines, and there was this is years ago, in Bitch magazine, awesome, this thing about someone complaining about 30 Rock had just come out, and they were complaining that Tina Fey, why couldn't her character have been a strong woman, and why do we have to make fun of her all the time? And it's like, you're not getting it. She is helping women because we are laughing at her, you know, having her weight issues and being gross and doing the great things that she does on that show, and it's not bringing women down to laugh at her. It's bringing us up, because when people get used to laughing at women, then female comedians will do better, and there will be more of them, and people like Adam Carolla won't whip out that they don't think that women are as funny. So
as opposed to the woman going, "You're so crazy, you guys, stop it," you know, playing that character a lot in sitcoms, being the straight man, which in our act I tend to play the straight man. She plays the wacky character.
Well, you're taller. So.
Well, yeah, that helps.
Why do you think it is that society is uncomfortable with women being funny? I've noticed the same thing. Do you think it's maybe they're upstaging men in society?
I'm sure that's part of it, and I mean, there's so many reasons, and it's so complicated.
I think I better answer.
Yeah, I think you should. Sure. Please do.
Please.
Well, if I were going to answer, I would say that I think it's rooted in sexism. I think that, you know, comedians is a male-dominated profession because it attracts a lot of sexist men, and it's, you know, it's like a naked man is funny and a naked woman is usually exploitive or not funny.
Unless she's fat, then it's funny.
Yes, that's hilarious. But yeah, it's just this thing where men are threatened by it.
Well, from listening to the WTF podcast with Mark Maron, it's one of my favorite podcasts, he talks about most comedians go up there to work on some type of issue of their own, and they work on it through the crowd.
Right.
So do you think maybe people can't handle women having quote-unquote issues or whatever it is because they're supposed to be just like nurturers?
Yeah. I mean, it's not just comedians, it's women in stories in general. We're used to, you know, I can go and watch The Bourne Identity and identify with Jason Bourne, but if you put a woman in a lead character, a man, you know, we think that a man's not going to want to see it because little boys aren't brought up to identify with women. They're not, I don't know, a lot of probably little boys are reading The Hunger Games, and that's probably going to help because they can identify with Katniss or things like that. But in our society, men aren't put in the position to identify with women, so any movie with women in it is a chick flick.
Well, there was an interesting article about like female action movies with female action characters, and when they don't do well, they say, well, movies with female leads in action movies don't work. People don't want to see them. But like when a male action movie doesn't do well, people don't say, well,
they don't want to see
a men in an action movie.
Yeah.
But that's like the go-to thing for if a female-driven vehicle doesn't do well.
And if you just look at something like the Bechdel test, you know, which isn't supposed to, you know, malign any single film, but just the fact that so few movies pass it at all is absurd, and points out that they're, you know, women are 51% of the population, and that's ridiculous that most movies don't have a scene with two women talking to each other for more than 30 seconds about something than a man. Named characters talking
something
to each
other
other.
than a man.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Right.
I don't think The Selling passes the Bechdel test.
It doesn't, but it does have some strong female characters.
Yeah.
That was important to me. I didn't know about the Bechdel test when I wrote that, so didn't even realize that I had this institutionalized thing where I didn't even realize I was doing it.
Well, also it's not meant to judge individual movies, and the lead character in the movie is a man, and the story focuses around him, so I forgive you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad we made that breakthrough on camera.
That was my reason for being here. That was great.